Yo, what's good guys? It's Turtle from Hardcore Cards on Instagram, once again taking over Kybelord's YouTube channel. So last time I was here, I gave you a Draco Pendulum Magician deck profile. This time I'm bringing you an Odd Eyes deck profile. Now this particular Odd Eyes list actually took me to first place in a tournament recently. However, do take that first place very lightly, as after I built the deck, I then found out that meta decks are actually banned from this particular tournament. Saying that, there was still a lot of rogue tier competitive decks like Salmon Greats, Cyber Dragons, Invoked, Marju, that kind of thing. And even if meta decks were allowed in the tournament, I'd have still entered this exact list. You'll see one of the cards is like a tech choice for this particular meta, for example. But yeah, I love Odd Eyes, but they did take a bit of a setback when Electromite got banned, unfortunately. However, we did recently get Rusty Bardiche and the Rank Up Magic back off the ban list, which means we can do Kali Yuga turbo plays on your opponent's turn once again. And that's kind of the saving grace for the deck. Without it, I feel Odd Eyes just can't really perform. It's weird. They've got a lot of search cards, but they still brick an awful lot. And yeah, that's just how it goes, unfortunately. Electromite really did help the deck so much. It fixed your hand, got exactly what you needed, got your scales, whatever you needed at the time. Hopefully one day we'll get Electromite back, but who knows. But yeah, this is the deck profile, so I hope you guys enjoy it. And we'll get started with the monsters. So then guys, starting us off with the monsters, we of course have the Odd Eyes cards themselves. Starting us off, we have possibly the best vanilla monster in the game, which is Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum. Obviously, because it is a vanilla, it has no monster effect. However, it does have a really good pendulum scale effect. And that is, if your Odd Eyes card gets destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon an Odd Eyes from your hand, deck, or graveyard, which is absolutely crazy. So from the graveyard, you'd normally be recycling your Odd Eyes Vortex Dragons, that kind of thing. Or from your deck, you can push for game with like Phantom Dragon, that kind of thing. Absolute crazy effect. Need play for Elf, and it's a level 7 as well. So if you open multiples, it can help you go into your Kali Yuga plays. So next for the Odd Eyes list, possibly the best card for Odd Eyes and a lot of Pendulum decks in general right now is Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon. We have waited so long for this card in the TCG. I believe I said that in my last deck profile I gave you, and nothing's changed. It's so good. Pitch it out of your hand, pay 500, search whatever Dragon Pendulum monster you want, and it's not once per turn either, and that's absolutely crazy. You do actually get access to its scale effect an awful lot in an Odd Eyes build as well. And yeah, that's really good. It's a scale 12 as well, which is crazy. So yeah, definitely free of Odd Eyes Revolution. And they're not too expensive either. Like, it's certainly a card I would pick up right now, guys. I think they're about, what, £10, £15 a copy. Definitely get your copies, because yeah, they're crazy. Next up, we do have just the one Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Its scale effect is okay. It's just a shame it's a scale 4. Especially for this particular build, because we do use the Magicians as well. However, it can pop itself in end phase, which will then trigger your Arc Pendulum to get you another Odd Eyes on field. But it is in end phase, so it's a little bit slower. But just the one of them, it's another level 7, another one we can search out. The same with Odd Eyes Phantom Dragon. Again, it's another level 7. Its monster effect is quite handy. Can attack, can push for game, that kind of thing. And it's a level 7, so like I said, it's just another way of getting to another level 7. And yeah, it's just another Odd Eyes name, really. Then we have the one I love and hate at the same time, Persona Dragon. Persona Dragon, if it could be normal summoned, it would be so good. However, because it is a level 5, it means it has to be either tribute summon or you pendulum summon it out. So it's a bit of a strange level. Its monster effect is actually really good. It negates monsters from the extra deck. And it is a scale 1 as well, so it can help you put in the scale, pop it with like Skyrus or something, trigger your Arc Pendulum, and then you can special summon it out from your extra deck, that kind of thing. So yeah, it is kind of good, but its level is just really annoying. But you kind of have to play the one of. And that is it for the Odd Eyes monsters. So now we'll go on to kind of the Magician lineup, I guess. So starting us off, we have the free Chronograph. Chronograph Sorcerer is there purely as trying to get an extender for, of course, Time Gazer Magician. You need to play it. It's a really good scale 8. It's a level 6 as well, which will come in handy for my later tech choice in the extra deck. And yeah, you can special summon Time Gazer by popping itself in the scale, and yeah, get your play started. Because the idea is you need to try and turbo out Link 2, which we'll get to shortly, and then carry on from there, really. So then we do have the other Pendulum package, Pendulum Magician package. So we have one Harmonizing, the one Oath Dragon, the one Celestial, got to move these up a bit, the one Purple Poison, and the one Zhang Magician. So Harmonizing is obviously your main one. When you Pendulum summon it out from the hand, you can special summon any number of these. Oath Dragon's really good. It's a low scale. It helps you recycle your Odd Eyes cards. And its monster effect is really good as well. Can help you recycle, say, your Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon. Like I said, it's not once per turn either. Celestial's scale effect is actually really handy in this as well. If you got Vortex on field and your Vortex gets popped, you can then special summon it back out again. Purple Poison is mostly there. We do need a lot more low scales in the deck, so because we ideally want Arc as our high scale, so we need a few more low scales. So Purple Poison's there for that. I mean, its monster effect does come up an awful lot. Actually, I do find it really handy. And then, of course, Zhang Magician is a level 7 magician, which can be summoned from Harmonizing's effects. So, yeah, like I said, it's really important you get your rank 7 plays going. Right, so then that is it for the Magician lineup. Then we go to the other package, which is, of course, the Supreme King package. So in this particular build, we just play the 2 Dark Worm and the 2 Gate Zero. So Gate Zero actually isn't a brick in this particular build because it's a low scale and it's a level 7 as well. So it's really handy. Dark Worm, there is arguments to bump it up to 3. However, there's so many ways to get to Dark Worm now with Odd Eyes Revolution, and obviously, you've got Pendulum Call, which can be searchable as well. So there's so many more consistent ways to see Dark Worm in your hand. So I'd say 2 is perfectly enough. And then you'd be very unlucky to open both Gate Zeros, although I wouldn't put it past me or myself, I must admit. So at least you've always got hopefully got a target to search from Dark Worm as well with your Gate Zeros. And that's that. And I do apologise, guys. This next card is a proxy, and I'm hoping Card Lord will edit it on the field. And that is 2 Magician Souls. So Magician Souls is there mostly as an extender, but its draw power does come up as well. You can sack once you've used your scars, you can sack it off and draw a card, for example, that kind of thing. If you haven't got the budget for Magician Souls, which, as you can see, I haven't got the budget at the moment, Jester Comfort is a really good cheap alternative. It's a nice, easy special summonable monster. Okay, you don't get the draw effect from Jester, but honestly, the draw effect is a little bit of a bonus, to be honest. But yeah, that is 2 Magician Souls. Like I said, I'm hoping Card Lord will edit that in. Then we do have just the one Phantom Knight. Again, there is arguments to play the Cloak as well, and I have been toying with the idea of putting Cloak in here. But even if you open Boots, there's so many ways to get it to the grave. Like, you've got Pendulum Call, you can just summon it out and sack it off with a Link monster, that kind of thing. You could even summon it and pop it with Skyros. I mean, there's so many ways to get into the grave, so I wouldn't say it's essential to run the Cloak as well. However, it is something I was toying with just as another extender, so you can go to your rusty plays, send Cloak, banish Cloak, get the Boots, special summon the Boots because you control Phantom Knight monster, and then links into something else, that kind of thing. I mean, it's something I've considered, but at the minute, just the one worked out perfectly fine for me. And yeah, I probably wouldn't change it. And that is it for the monsters, guys. So next up, we will have the spells and the one trap, of course. So yeah, bear with me and I'll get that set. Right then, guys. So for the spells, start us off. We have, of course, the free Allure of Darkness. Pretty much the whole deck is all dark. So your Allure of Darkness is always going to be live. And you need as much draw power as you can in this particular deck as well. Like I said at the start of the video, autos can be a bit bricky, so the more draw power, the better. Not much else to say about Allure of Darkness, to be honest. This just does what it says on the tin. Draws 2, banish one of your dark monsters. Then we do run the free Skyros and, of course, one Terraforming. there is arguments to only run 2 Skyris, and I can certainly see why. It can be a bit bricky in your hand, but this particular build is a 43 card deck, and seeing Skyris is really, really important. You would have to be unlucky to open, like, say, 2 of them and the Terraform and that kind of thing. And it's just such a good card. It can just add you whatever Odd Eyes card you need. So you can fix your, get your Scales, you can get your Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon, which can get your Dark Worm. Yeah, I found it absolutely incredible, Skyris. I wouldn't take it down. The only time I'd probably take it down to 2 and a Terraforming is if I played a 40 card deck, which I might look to trim the deck down, but it's really, really tight. Then we do have another really, really good search card, and that is 3 Spiral Flame Strike. Spiral Flame Strike can search you any of your level 7 Odd Eyes, which is a shame it's only level 7 ones, but honestly, it's absolutely fine. It's not once per turn either, so if you open multiples, you can search your multiple Odd Eyes cards. And on top of that, if you control an Odd Eyes card, so either in your scale or on the field, you can get a free pop on field, which is very rare for a Pendulum deck to have, and main decked out to like Mystic Mine or something like that. It's yeah, it's really, really good, especially in a format where certainly more control decks are coming through, so there's a lot of back row, that kind of thing. It's yeah, handy to have, definitely. Then of course we do the 2 Pendulum Calls and the 2 Jeweller's Alliance. So Pendulum Call is, I mean, it's just insane. Pendulum Call, it always has been, especially if you've got Dark Worm in your hand. Pendulum Call Dark Worm has always been absolute crazy. And then you've got Jeweller's Alliance, which can search your Pendulum Call, or it can search your Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon or your Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon, because it's got Pendulum in the name. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Jeweller's Alliance can be a bit bricky in multiples, that's why I only played the 2. Same with the Pendulum Call. I mean, hopefully you're going to see it with all the draw power from the Allure, Jeweller's Alliance. Hopefully you'll see at least one of them in your opening hand. Then we've got the 1 Foolish and the 1 Dragon Shrine. Honestly, it's just another way of getting Dark Worm to the grave. I personally wouldn't want to play any more than this. I can certainly see the arguments to bump up Dragon Shrine to say 2 or something. But in all honesty, there's so many ways to search Dark Worm or get Dark Worm to the grave. Yeah, especially in this particular build, I just don't really feel like it's needed. Then we do have, of course, the rank up magic. Can't believe it's come off the ban list, especially then when Bardiche then come off. I could not believe what I was seeing, but it's back, and we'll certainly use it. And that is it for the spells, but we do have, of course, the 1 trap, which is, of course, the Fog Blade. So the idea is you go into Bardiche, send the boots, search either the rank up or the Fog Blade, and then banish boots to search the other one. Yeah, and Fog Blade's a really good negate card right now as well. So that is it for the main deck, guys. Like I said, 43 cards. There's certainly a few things I want to toy around with and change, but that is it for the main deck, so we will get cracking with the extra deck. Right then, guys, so for the final bit of the deck profile, the extra deck. So starting us off, we have the 2 Odd Eyes Absolute, the 1 Vortex, the 1 Meteor Burst, and the 1 Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. So Odd Eyes Absolute is definitely the main one here. When it's sent from field to the grave, you can special summon any of your Odd Eyes cards from your extra deck. So we'd normally go to, say, Vortex Dragon, or in this case, we'd normally go into Raging Dragon, which will be summoned with no materials. It is a dark type, so you can use rank up magic to go into Kali Yuga. Of course, we do have the Vortex play if we want. That's where we do play 2 Absolute, so we've got options there. Vortex, as you know, is a really, really good negate for Pendulums. Big 3k booty on it as well, so hard for your opponent to attack over. Has a really nice bounce effect on the special summon as well, which is always an added bonus. Meteor Burst is kind of like a last-ditch attempt to get into your rank 7 plays. So depending on how much you've been hand-trapped, Meteor Burst is there, can be summoned with Harmonize and Time Gazer. And when it's special summoned, you can special summon one of your scales. So normally you'd probably have either Gate 0 or your Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum in your scale, which happens to be both level 7. So you can special summon and go into your rank 7 place and carry on from there. Sorry about if you can hear someone in the background, guys. I said in the last video, I do live on an Air Force base, so consequently there is Air Force planes occasionally, and when they take off, they usually take off in numbers, so there might be one or two, but just bear with me, alright? I'll try and talk over it. But that is it for the Odd Eyes monsters. And yeah, there's another plane, you can probably hear it just about. Then for the links, of course, Rusty. I mean, Rusty Buddy, it's just so broken. I cannot believe it's come back. Absolutely crazy. I mean, as a Pendulum player, it really does give me hope that Electromite can actually come back, because in my opinion, Rusty Bardiche is a lot more broken than Electromite. But perhaps Konami just hate Pendulums and just want to kill them off, but who knows. Gives me hope anyway. Then we go one Beat Cop, which is just another Link 2, which happens to be a Dark, Gravity Controller, and Vertace. So Beat Cop, like I said, is just another Link 2, which happens to be Dark, although I have been tempted to try and drop it for IP and perhaps a Unicorn. Gravity Controller is so good in Odd Eyes. Like, you can special summon out Odd Eyes Absolute in your extra monster zone, link it off with Gravity Controller, Odd Eyes Absolute summons out of Vortex, and then Gravity Controller is just really good at getting rid of annoying lurking monsters, which happen to be in your opponent's extra monster zone. And then Vertate is what we go into first. Like I said, talking through the monsters, we kind of want a turbo out 2 monsters to go into a Link 2, which happens to be Vertate. So Vertate at this point, your opponent will probably imperm you if they've got it, which if they do, it is a bit of a pain, but we can work around it. So normally people obviously will be paying the life points, sending Red Eyes Fusion, getting your Dragoon out, and then it's GG from there. But in this build, we actually use its other effect to turn monsters into Dark. So that is how we go into Rusty Bardiche, using this and Odd Eyes Absolute, which happens to be a water type. So you turn it into a Dark type, then that's the materials needed for Odd Eyes, for Rusty Bardiche, and we go from there. But that is it for the Link monsters. Now for the XEs, of course, Kali Yuga himself. So good. I mean, when someone on your opponent's turn, your opponent basically can't do anything. It's also 3,500 attack as well, so he's a big boy. And it can destroy all spell and traps on the field during your player's turn. So, and if you've used Pendulum Call and you have the Pendulum Magicians in your scales, they'll be safe on your opponent's turn. So that's also another real handy little trick there. Then for the other XEs, we do have Big Eye, Abyss Dweller, Supreme King Dark Rebellion, and my tech choice, which was the Vampire Dragon Dragulus, I believe it's called. Can't hardly read the writing, that's one of them purple ultra rares. Dragulus, yep. So Big Eye is basically just steal your opponent's monster. It happens to be a rank 7. Yeah, really good. Did win me the final match against Cyber Dragons, I have to say. Dweller, Dweller's Dweller. If you can make Dweller, if you're up against a deck which relies purely on the graveyard, Dweller is basically an instant win. Supreme King Dark Rebellion, I absolutely love this card. It's won me so many games by attacking over big monsters. It can attack pretty much over anything using its effect. And yeah, it's just really good. It's handy to get rid of Dragoon as well. And then Dragulus, like I said, was my tech choice. So when I was making the deck, I didn't realise this tournament I was entering was non-meta, so I was expecting to come up against a lot of Zoo Eldritch type decks, and Zeus for Pendulums is a real big problem because it clears the whole board, including your Pendulum scales. So, and it's hard to come back from that, you know. So I needed a way to stop them getting to Zeus, and basically Dragulus is a Book of Moon for monsters which are summoned from the extra decks. So the idea is you Book of Moon, say one of the Zoo cards and one of the Zoo XEs, obviously. And so they can't then climb up into Zeus, because the 6 material Zeus is a real pain. Okay, they've still got the Eldritch cards to deal with, but at least you've got Zeus out of the way, you know, sort of one less threat you have to worry about. And it did come in clutch as well, like as a more defensive card in the tournament as well. So there was times where both players were top decking, and I was actually against a Zeus. I was against a Cyber Dragon player. We were both sort of top deck, and he had Zeus on field. He'd already used the effect mind, and I had to use Dragulus as a defensive card to Book of Moon it, so it couldn't attack the game because I was on very low life points at the time. Managed to top deck into exactly what I needed, which happened to be the materials for Big Eye. Big Eye stole the Zeus, attacked the game, job done, and that was the final game. So it was coming handy as well, because I thought I'd wasted my spot when I found out that there was no meta decks involved, but luckily it did come up. And then for the final card in the extra deck, we of course have Boral Savage. So Boral Savage, best possible board is actually ending on a Boral Savage, a Kali Yuga, and obviously the Fogblaze set. And yeah, not much else to say about Boral Savage. Just really, really good card, really good negator, and it can be made really easily by harmonizing, summoning out either Purple Poison or Celestial. So yeah, that is it. But that is it for the deck profile, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, hardcore_cards. I'm sure Kyberlord will leave the link in the description. And yeah, hopefully he'll invite me back as well. But until next time, guys, we'll see you again.